morning, it's Mrs. Hedesheimer. Today we're making these awesome paper mache pumpkins inspired by Yayoi Kusama, who we learned about last time in our last project. So these paper mache pumpkins are going to dry hard, and we're going to paint them later. So you were supposed to bring in a grocery bag, just like this one. We are going to use this grocery bag to turn it into a pumpkin shape, and then we're going to cover it with this paper mache and let it dry to harden. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our grocery bag, and we're going to get 2 tissues that you would just get, for your nose. We're going to roll it up in a ball, and we're going to take the handles of our bag and just kind of tuck them in. And then we're going to roll from all the different sides. Roll, 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 roll. There's no really right or wrong way to do this. And then we're going to take that ball of tissues that we made, stick it in the middle, and then roll around it so that we have just a ball shape. Okay. Once you have your ball shape like that, you're going to get a rubber band. This rubber band we're going to use to wrap around it to hold it together, and also to create the bumps of our pumpkin. So it should be lumpy and bumpy, just like a pumpkin you would get at the farm. So here's what we do. We're going to take our rubber band in between our fingers like this, and we're going to open it up. Okay. Then we're going to put our pumpkin into the rubber band like this. Okay. Once it's around the middle, we're going to turn it sideways and pull it. Okay. Then we're going to flip our hand over and open it back up again. If that was hard for you, let me show you that again. Putting my hands in the rubber band, I'm opening it up. I'm wrapping it around. Okay. Then I'm going to just kind of stretch it like this and then flip my hand over. So what I did essentially is I just made it tight around the middle, and I twisted it to keep it tight. Now that I twist it, now I can go around a second time. This time I turned my pumpkin so that I go around the opposite direction. So last time I went around this way. This time I'm going around that way. So now I could leave it there, and I have, you can see it better from the side, I have 4 bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if your rubber band is not super tight, like mine wasn't super tight, I can actually pull it one more time. And as long as it's not feeling like it's going to break, I can turn it one more time, open my hand back up, and I can go around another direction. So I'm going to go around in between these bumps here. So I'm just going to push it in between those bumps. And then I'm going to take the rubber bands I already have and kind of fix them so they're all crossing the same area. So this is obviously my bottom because that looks all messed up, but then the top looks pretty good. So I should have just a ball of my bag with these bumps around it. Okay. Once you have it the way you like it with your bumps, next what you're going to do is you're going to get your paper mache ready. So you're going to take one of your pieces of newspaper. You're going to rip off a pretty big piece. I would say this is probably good. You don't want it humongous, but you want it to be big enough that your pumpkin kind of fits in the middle of it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper mache liquid. This is basically just water and glue. And you're going to dip the whole thing in. Dip the whole thing in. Lift it up. And this is very important. We don't want too much on here. So if there's a lot of extra, let it drip. And then you need to make sure you unfold it. So you're going to unfold it like that and put it flat on your messy mat. If it is folded up, it will not dry correctly. Okay? It really, really will not. So you've got to make sure it's only one layer by making sure it's unfolded. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our pumpkin that we made, put it on the middle, and this part of our bag is really shiny and it does not stick very well to this. So what we're doing right now is we're covering up all the shiny spots so that the rest of the paper mache will stick. So I'm just lifting up one side, I'm going to hold it, lift up another side. I'm not pulling it. If I pull it, it's going to rip. Lift up another side, and then lift up the last side. This one ripped on mine. It's okay if it does rip. I'm going to take this part off because it already ripped. Once you have all the sides up, you can kind of smooth out the corners a little bit. Then you're going to take this extra at the top and kind of twist it and ball it up to create a stem shape. Okay? So there is my stem shape. Now this is where it ripped, so I need to get another piece and I need to layer that on top to cover up that hole, and then I'll just kind of wrap that around my stem. Okay, so this is the base. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take little pieces, and our little pieces are gonna go over top of our base that we have, and it's gonna smooth everything out, and it's gonna shape our bumps and our stem until we have it the way that we like it. See how this is not very smoothed out right now? It's kind of messy. This one is what it should look like when it's finished, and this is what it's gonna look like when it's dry and we can get. So we're gonna get a lot of these little strips. If you don't have little strips already, you can take a piece and just rip it into a small piece. And you always wanna dip one strip at a time, get all the excess off. And then what you do is, like, let's say your stem is not staying, you can wrap a piece around your stem to get it to stay in place and smooth down the edges. Let's say it's not staying at the top of my stem, like it's sticking up a little bit, it's not staying. I can take another little piece, dip it in, get the excess off, make sure it's not folded on itself. You want thin pieces. The thinner it is, the more sturdy it will be. Then I'm going to put that on the top and kind of smooth that down the top so the top stays. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing around all my holes and all my bumps. So I'm just going to rip off a small piece, make sure there's only one layer, it's not folded, get the excess off, make sure it's not folded up, and then I'm going to start here and I can kind of make it a little bit tight as long as it doesn't rip. And I can wrap it around the spot that had a hole in it, and I can use my finger to smooth out the shape into a shape that I like. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going around my entire pumpkin, smoothing out any areas. If I see any areas like this where there's like a hole and I can see underneath, that means I need to get another strip and I need to cover that up. It's like I'm patching up a ball, like a volleyball that has like air coming out. I'm gonna patch it up, smooth it out with my finger. You can slowly start to feel your bumps underneath when you're smoothing. Like there's a bump here, and you can actually put pieces in the crevice of the bump. Like I see there's one there, and then kind of use your finger and kind of massage it in to make that bump show up. So I'm going to keep doing this all around my entire pumpkin, and I'll meet you back at the end.